If you're going to go for a potentially dangerous drive, your best bet is to be fully dialed in and paying attention. This clip, taken by a dashcam driver going down the Angeles Crest Highway, shows precisely why you can't check out for even a second. The driver is swept up, clearly by the breathtaking scenery around him. The mountains are gorgeous and the sky is clear. He goes through 2 tunnels without issues, but the original poster claims he wasn't fully paying attention. He was going a little too fast and got distracted just in time to send himself flying off the side of the cliff. Oh no! Oh no! The car kicks up some dirt, rolling and flipping off the side of the mountain. Luckily, it didn't go far. He was unharmed and they even retrieved the car. While damaged, things could have been much worse. This is a nightmare situation if there ever was one. Sometimes horror makes sense. Terrifying things check out because everyone fears them. But what about the inexplicable? The strange, the weird, the absolutely bonkers. This man, fitted with a TV for a head, was caught on a Ring camera as he walked up to his presumably neighbor's house. He carries an additional TV, probably around 50 to 100 pounds, and gently sets it on the doorstep. That's all. He waves, saying goodbye before leaving. While not truly horrifying, in fact it might just be an odd dude doing odd things, this clip is enough to make anyone pause. If you saw this on your Ring camera, would you not be slightly unsettled? Uncanny, skin-crawling horror is just as bad as any other because the feeling sticks with you. Sometimes nature is freakier than any man-made insanity. This anaconda found in Brazil is enough to haunt anyone's bad dreams. In the shallow, murky waters of the Amazon, we can see the monstrous outline of a creature that has grown well past its general species size. This guy looks like a prehistoric relic, something out of time and too big for this world. If you ever saw this in the wild, it would probably already be too late. Would you try to outrun a dinosaur? Probably not. So why would you even try with this one? Have you ever imagined what your last moments might look like? If you went missing, what would you be remembered for? When this man went missing in Oregon, he likely thought this would be like any other trail expedition. He wasn't filming to capture his last moments. He was just filming for memory's sake. He takes stock of where he is, his tent, and his surroundings. A few moments later, he takes a wide shot of his surroundings, remarking how beautiful it was. A few hours later, he's woken up by some loud noises, noting that someone outside his tent is making the noise. He films these noises, which sound like rocks or bottles being hit.
That can't be. That gets us. Someone's messing around with the rocks out there. Jesus, leave me alone!
He shouts at the intruder to leave him alone and is met with continued attention as the figure rips his tent open. He's out in the dark now, using night vision to navigate the dark forest. Of course, stumbling around in the dark is dangerous on a good day. Worse if you're abandoned in the forest. The clip ends suddenly when the man captures a figure far off in the darkness, coming closer to him. It looks a bit like a humanoid, and many commenters claim it looks like an alien. One thing's for sure though, alien or not, the man did go missing. He's the only one who'll ever know what happened, if he's still out there. Luckily, sometimes nature is on our side. As caught by CCTV, this young girl was being approached by a suspicious-looking car. It pulls up beside her. We can't see the people in the car, but we can see the immediate hesitation and fear in the girl as she backs away from the vehicle suddenly. Just as she backs away, a dog comes up behind her. The dog begins barking, immediately aggressive towards the vehicle. He's small but enough to put the would-be assailants off their target. The vehicle suddenly drives away. Spooked by the dog, perhaps, or maybe the unwanted attention a yappy dog might bring to this situation. One way or another they leave, and the girl is safe from what could have been a very morbid fate. All of this thanks to a stray terrier on the street. Man's best friend for sure. Dashcams worldwide catch all sorts of things. The good, the bad, and the very ugly. This dashcam captures a terrifying moment as drivers narrowly survive a bombing, something that most people will never deal with in their lives. Suddenly, a projectile flies into a nearby building, breaking the sound and sending debris flying. The drivers react quickly, however, swerving the damage and getting to safety in seconds. Do you have reaction times this quick? Could you dodge wildly flying debris moments after a missile hits just a few feet away? Depending on where you live, this might seem like a typical weather pattern. This dust devil cyclone doesn't set off any alarms at first. If that was the case, it wouldn't have made today's list. However, in just a few seconds, you can see a strange figure in the middle, like a man stuck in the swirling vortex of dirt and dust. The peculiar figure seems to rise before suddenly disappearing, like the rest, in a poof of smoke. Maybe it's a trick of the light or something else, but it looks like a very cleverly disguised midday alien abduction. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. We're lucky to have dashcams in our lives. Every time a new clip of something insane happening on the road surfaces, a new wave of people install them in their car. And that's for the best, because these dangerous sorts of situations happen all the time. This driver catches a perilous encounter with motorists as they aggressively cut him off in traffic. He attempts, multiple times, to get around and away from them, but they won't let him go. Suddenly, the motorcyclists gang up on the man, driving into his car and attempting to remove him from the vehicle.
Huh? Sorry. Sorry.
Thankfully, the driver drives away quickly enough to get himself to safety, but even just a few moments more and it could have ended in disaster. Road rage is a killer. It's best to find an exit if possible.
Walmart get a man $20.
People are strange, and desperate people do desperate things. This clip shows a Walmart shopper who had the right idea and faced his fears head on. It captures the moments as an armed assailant waves a knife around, shouting things out into the Walmart. While he's not immediately threatening anyone, he's creating a threatening situation in which everyone involved has to wonder whether they're safe. The shopper, not a police officer of any kind, takes a quiet moment to disarm and restrain the would-be attacker before things get wild or anyone gets hurt. The larger man in the dark red hoodie swings at the man, attempting to disarm him. It doesn't work and the man returns immediately swinging, still not attacking anyone, but the energy is high and dangerous. Not even a moment goes by before a second man uses a stand to whack the assailant over the head. This disarms and brings him to the ground, leaving him unable to get back up. Officers keep the stunned man down and bring him into custody, and it couldn't have been too soon. Without the quick-thinking heroes shopping for their groceries, who knows what could have happened.
He had a knife. That's why they tried to get it from him. That's all. And he was saying he was gonna stab people because he wanted $20.
Camping can be terrifying, especially if you're alone. Being out somewhere unfamiliar, you never know what you'll encounter.
Alright, crew. You know the deal by now. Let's go on an adventure.
This YouTuber, user Fearless and Far, is known for his travel and excursion videos, pushing himself to the outer limits of fear by going on adventures that other people wouldn't dare. He's come to Satan's Castle in northeastern Turkey this time. This abandoned fortress is a gorgeous testament to time. It's overgrown but still incredible. He goes about his time, setting up camp and exploring the grounds with wonder. A Bronze Age beauty, likely built by the Eurytans, but it's been a strong fortress for all who conquered the land over the years. The absolute horror of FNF's overnight stay doesn't start until much later. He's treated to a terrifying climb, exploring in the dark as he suddenly hears gunshots. None hit him, but the explorer knows they were meant for him.
A gunshot. I didn't hear it, and I continued around the side of the castle in view of the path.
He sticks his ground, trying to understand where the shots are, but the shooting doesn't end there.
Guys, someone came with a gun and fired shots at the castle. They're firing shots at me.
They continue to shoot at him, and the camper reaches out to a friend who reaches out to the police. He soon learns that the police have been there for over an hour, trying to apprehend a terrorist treasure hunter, which he realizes soon was actually him. The people shooting were the police, who didn't take too kindly to his appearance at the fortress. It was all a misunderstanding, but one that could have gone south without a bit of care. Could you have kept your cool if you thought you were being targeted and shot at in a foreign country?
Guys, someone came with a gun and fired shots at the castle. They're firing shots at me. I left everything behind, and now I'm trying to find a safe place to go. That's them there with a flashlight. Oh, they're coming closer.
Nature can be dangerous, cruel and unfeeling because it just happens to the world indiscriminately. This school surveillance system for an elementary school in Andover, Kansas catches the moments as nature rips the earth apart. The wind suddenly picks up, tearing everything in its path. You can see trees whipping outside as gates and bike racks go flying. There's a good reason. If you're in an area that gets tornadoes, that they'll tell you to just seek shelter and cover your heads because there's almost nothing you can do against a storm of that magnitude. It tears the courtyard to shreds, leaving nothing but wreckage. In just seconds, the cafeteria area looks like a war zone. Windows are sucked out, glass shatters, and the world just succumbs to the storm for a moment. Obviously, this storm was evacuated. No students were in the building, and while the buildings in the area sustained substantial damage, it wasn't enough to harm anyone. Next time you hear about tornadoes, just know they're nothing to scoff at. When backed into a corner, your choices may not make sense. People under high stress levels can rarely make sound decisions. They're looking for a way out, a safe escape, something to alleviate the terror they're dealing with. This driver, surrounded by cars, was terrified and fled in response to suddenly being surrounded. Not knowing what's going on, we can at least empathize with the flight or flight response, right?
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up!
Things start slow, but the man behind the wheel guns it when he panics. The chase takes a surprising amount of time, with the driver losing the cops several times on the highway while going at an alarming speed of 110 miles per hour. He handles the car incredibly well, even at high speeds. Except eventually the vehicle has to stop. The minivan is losing speed as it begins to run out of gas. He could have likely used a fuel up before engaging like this, but it's not like he knew he'd be in a chase, so we can forgive the lack of forethought. As soon as he's caught, the bravado is gone. He's on the ground, being shouted at but complying with police. When you're caught, you're caught. It's hard to argue there.
Lord, please. All right, calm down. You're under arrest now. We're done. You're caught. We're done. Okay. You got anything on you I need to know about? Any weapons?
No, but my arm.
Everything in the car's yours? Okay. How come you ran, man, when we pulled up?
It's an elusive creature. Alright, just squat it down.
Do you believe in Bigfoot? Millions of people all across the country have claimed to see the ape-like cryptid in various places, everywhere from the Appalachians to the Pacific Northwest. This clip was caught during a train ride from Durango to Silverton as passengers cut through the San Juan National Forest in Colorado. The clip shows Bigfoot, a shaggy humanoid hybrid-looking creature, walking through the brush before sitting on a particularly flat rock. While the park services have claimed to be aware of this new Bigfoot evidence, they refuse to weigh in on it. Bigfoot is almost as fun as an unknowable cryptid. What do you think?
Yeah, let me see your camera, I'll do it.
Kids always say scary things. They're processing the world around them with a limited understanding, so they say things that don't quite make sense. Imagine what it would feel like being a babysitter and for the kid you're watching to come out with something so out of pocket you have to dive a bit deeper. This babysitter did just that. The little girl he watched claims her baby doll moves only when they play hide and seek.
You said it moves? That doll? This doll?
Yeah.
Like you move it, or? What? When does it move?
When you play hide and seek with her.
When you play hide and seek?
Yeah.
Bro. Oh my god. Sadie, you scared me. Don't do that, dude.
Yo.
Ignoring everything he probably knows from horror movies, the babysitter himself decides to try it out, keeping an eye on the doll only to eventually be scared by the dog making her way into his face. That's enough excitement for one night. Except after the girl had gone to bed, he wanders back to the now dark living room only to see something inexplicable. In the grainy darkness of the clip, it looks like the doll has moved the moment they stopped watching her. What do you think? Real or not? What do you do when your culprit is a creature of the night? There's no code of ethics that animals need to obey, no laws that can keep them held without bond. This rat probably doesn't even realize what he's stealing is expensive, but from above he jumps in, moving with a purpose as he yanks the diamond necklace off the stand. Then, without hesitation, he jumps right back up where he came from, effortlessly stealing the necklace. Cat burglars beware, there's a new mouse in town. If you've ever looked at a trail cam, you know there's far more than you'd realize out there going bump at night. This clip shows a seemingly peaceful night deep in the woods on the trail. Suddenly, something hops into the frame from the right side of the screen, skipping and hopping unnaturally. It's unclear what we're looking at here. A coyote, a fox, maybe a miniature horse? Probably best not to go looking for this strange creature. Who knows what else is out there?
Happy birthday to you.
On your birthday, getting swept up in all the celebrations around you is easy. You might not 100% know what's happening because there's so much around you. This woman was singing along with her loved ones in front of a lit cake when her candles suddenly blew out from under her. The shock and surprise on her face were enough to know it wasn't just someone else in the room. Was it a trick of the light or a ghost? Could it have been something else entirely? That's the beauty of a scary clip on the internet. We may never know.
Happy birthday.
Not all storms are sudden, but it's best to be prepared when they are. You don't always get warnings when the tides are about to turn. The Northeast rarely deals with tropical storm weather, but when they do, things do get a bit crazy. From insane water leaks to roads turned into rivers, the 2023 flooding in New York City is something from legend.
Oh my goodness.
People still need to go about their day. New York isn't the city that never sleeps for nothing. However, with anywhere from several inches to a foot or two, this water was unlike anything they'd ever seen. Subways filled with water, leaving people without a ride to work. People who opted to drive were no safer, stuck on roads that looked more like rivers, just hoping their car wouldn't give out along the way. For future reference, these are not the conditions you want to drive through, but you probably knew that already, right? If you made it this far, consider subscribing to our channel, Unpopular Notes, before we see our final clip, a sight to behold. Each week we post 2 new videos showcasing real-world dangers, terrors, and crime, keeping you informed about what's really happening out there. And if you're subscribed, make sure you have notifications turned on to stay updated on the latest releases. If you've enjoyed this one, there's way more where that came from, and you won't want to miss it. It's clear that sometimes things aren't meant to be understood. Without proper context, video clips look absolutely insane, but sometimes that's the best you can do. This CCTV footage catches the moment as one man attacks another on a seemingly empty road. The first man becomes aggressive as the other falls to the ground. However, something emerges from the man on the ground in a split second. It looks like a ghost, a ghoul, or maybe even a demon? The second man recoils, running away, and suddenly the creature is gone. The man gets to his feet seemingly unharmed and unaffected. Maybe it's just clever video editing, but maybe it's not meant to be explained.